Hi. In a few minutes, we'll be bringing in the TikTok, I was going to call it TikTok audience. This is meant to be an evergreen video. This will capture me making not just a live, but a live that's also, or I should say during the live, we're also going to be recording the different sections. At the beginning of this, I feel a little tired. I feel a little not ready for this for whatever reason. And it's just part of doing these types of things. You're not always at your best at the beginning. You hope you can catch fire and be able to do what you need to do. So, got the hair combed. Well, I got the hair drying. So we'll do different takes on lighting to kind of make the videos look a little different. So we came here a little early, just setting up. I wanted to take the time to thank all of you who have subscribed. We didn't even know we had the power to go live yet, to be honest. So it's been pretty exciting having that. We are going to be kicking on the fires and kicking the tires and lighting the fires, I should say. We have a kind of a rundown of what I want to accomplish. And we're going to go over all that in just a few minutes. I'm going to yawn again. No idea what the yawning's about. I've actually been sleeping better than I have in a little while as pain is recessing, so maybe it's just catching up with me. We'll get it. We'll amp it up. All right, so stay tuned. Sit back, watch. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video. When we hit the TikTok live, we're just going to go kind of with TikTok. We might be answering some questions in between making videos. So I'll be looking up there for this is how, when I'm looking up here, I'm looking at TikTok. When I'm looking over here, we're going to be recording. So you're going to see me this way. So slightly different. I'll be kind of looking like I'm ignoring you. We will be trying to check for any feedback you guys are giving, comments or something like that. So I don't know how many people actually registered for this. We're going to have to see when we get there. This did just kind of pop up to me. I think I made this maybe earlier today. I've been thinking about talking about it, so I think we're going to kind of kick on. Here we go.
What exactly do you mean you're going to crush my son?
Don't worry about that. By the way, we're at 9,922. We have gotten over 160 people in the last 7 days. If we're tracking the right way and we're only 78 away from the final goal, that means we can easily hit it this week, hopefully. I always nervously say that shit because anytime I get too excited about something, we seem to lose the momentum. So, all right, time to look. We're gonna hit the go live button. Hit the next go live button. There are apparently two. All right, we're gonna have to look at how this is. It's very much above my head. So let's see if we can't change this a little bit. Hold on. That should work. It's funny because this makes me very washed out right now at the moment. Let me see if I can't get it to focus on a different part of the room. All right. Echo lights off. Now it's the screen. The screen is what's so bright. So let me see if I can't turn the screen down. Let me see. It's mostly YouTube, because I still have you on the brighter mode. Or actually, it's StreamYard. I thought there was a dark mode for StreamYard. Should actually check for that. Yes, that's a dark mode. So much better. All right. That should actually, yep, that did it. All right, so I do want to kind of tilt that up just a tiny bit. There we go. All right. We are where are we? We're 1 minute from live time. You guys ready to learn about why I created a kinky community? I know you waited 6 minutes to hear me even say that. All right. I think we're going to hit it. Let's do it. I'm going to take some time and talk about how I kind of created a slice of the community and the importance of the TikTok community for me, and how kind of creating the educational channel, the Kink Educator, had really helped me kind of look at things differently. It'll challenge my beliefs and help me put things together that I had observed, plus learning from some amazing human beings on the TikTok channel has led me to creating a slice of the community in Port Charlotte, Florida, Charlotte County, I should say, Florida. It's been an interesting journey. It started last year around this time. We were originally aiming for Bradenton, as that's where I was planning to move at one point, but we decided to stay just a bit closer for various reasons. With that said, I'm excited to be bringing you guys the things I've learned, and in this video series, we will be sharing some of those tips and tricks. We'll be checking the comments on our live feed, as most of these videos will be done live, while the rest will be connected to this very video. So I'm going to let this upload, and then we'll come back in the comments section and make each one its own unique thing. Make sure to hit the follow button and be part of this online community known as the Kink Educator. Okay, so now we're going to let time and talk about how we're going to caption this. Let the captions build. We probably won't post all the videos today that we get from making this. There'll probably be a few we post and a few that we'll post later, and some of that will come down to just getting speed and timing right.
Work very hard to keep up to date on how to make the best videos that help all kinds.
There we go. Turn that down a bit. How is everyone doing? We might have guests within the second hour. For the first hour, it will probably be just me talking. I think we're ready to kind of jump into it as soon as this is over and we can make a comment. We got some topic points. There we go. I definitely think being part of the TikTok community has helped eliminate an echo chamber. And I think echo chambers are completely dangerous when it comes to the idea of this. So let's start with echo chamber as community killers. We are so close to the 10,000 mark. If you guys aren't already a follower, it would be awesome if you could do me a favor and hit that follow button as well. All right. Just waiting to put our comment in. Once it starts letting us make the comment, we'll be okay. Nope, still not there. Hope everyone's doing well today. All right, let's see if comment will work. Sometimes it takes a few minutes for this to work. Yes, we got our first comment, so we'll go. One of the most dangerous things, in my opinion, This is an opinion moment versus an educator moment. Is the idea of a community becoming an echo chamber and where one idea, one thought has to be it, like in how a lot of people have dealt with consent for the last couple of years. Oh, this is the community. Oh, things like that just happen. You kind of have to expect it. This is an echo chamber that is dangerous because there's not enough people standing up in that moment going, no, that's complete horseshit. Just because we're kinky doesn't mean we should have our consent violated, have people say creepy things to us or do creepy things to us. And this has been something that for some reason has been adapted and forced onto others. And we want to make sure that when creating any slice of the community, we make sure that's not happening. So we'll put that in the drafts. Like I said, that can be a tomorrow thing. Let's see. The next thing we'll do. I thought of something right in there. It was echo chambers. Can't think of it at the moment. We're going to do online communities matter. It's amazing to me that so many people will talk about how great the community is. No, you have to be part of the community. Going as far as telling people if you don't show up to community events, you're a red flag. What no one talks about is online communities enough and how great they can be and supportive they can be. And I think a lot of people might not take that as a valid thing. And I think that's awful because as long as you're interacting with human beings and learning, that's great. Let's be honest, community is not safe. We're going to talk about one of these videos, what exactly makes the community. And the idea here is that when we interact with humans, there is a little bit of a risk, especially when we're talking about this kind of lifestyle where people take advantage of it. Online communities come often without those worries. You can kind of interact with people, bounce questions off. I have had people come to me and be like, hey, I'm kind of talking to this person. Can you give them a quick look? And I do. And then I find some things and I point them out. And the person's very grateful for that because sure enough, the true colors come shining through. So don't ever discount an online community. They're just as important, if not more important, than in person because at in person communities, people might be after something while on online communities, they're often after knowledge. Thought that was a pretty good one. We're going to stick this in our draft section. Does anyone remember? Describing what a community is. Describing what a community is for us Kingsters. Folk. So what exactly is? Hold on. Something's up with the recording of this for some reason. So what exactly is the kinky community? It's just honestly the place where we all come together in public venues. The kinky community is global. It is anywhere there's an event happening. That is now part of the kinky community. Everything is the kinky community. A lot of people kind of try to take ownership of the kinky community, but at best, they're just controlling what is a slice or a bubble in the community. And they don't get to say what the whole community wants. And the last time I checked, it's been a long time since anyone had a sit down in a gathering where we all decided what the community was going to be and we went back and forth and actually had big conversations about this. Very often, there are people just making decisions for their little slices or pockets of the community. And I say little not as disparaging, but understand the community itself probably has millions of people in and out of a year throughout all the world. Now, one of the things I want to kind of make sure everyone's aware of when it comes to the lifestyle is way bigger. Look at the lifestyle as an iceberg. And on this iceberg, the actual part of the lifestyle that isn't seen is what takes place at home is everything under the water. If you've ever seen a picture of an iceberg, it's like this triangle thing. You're like, oh my God, that's so big. But down below, it's so much bigger. It's like sometimes 5 to 10 times what you see on the surface floating. And that is what's happening at home. A lot of people don't go to the community. As a matter of fact, the community is the smallest part of the lifestyle. And there are varying reasons. Some people just don't feel a need to be part of a group of people to talk about kinks. Some people have had issues, probably a lot more common. And some people in the community also just enjoy it lightly and they don't feel they need to get too deep into it. And everyone is within the lifestyle, but not necessarily the community. To be part of the community, you do actually have to show up in the community. But doesn't mean the people who aren't coming to the community are any less valuable than the people who are going into the community. And we have to be mindful of it. Just because someone doesn't go to a community event doesn't make them not kinky, and it doesn't make them not part of this lifestyle. It just means they don't go to community events. It's that simple. The community, realistically, it should be about us getting together and talking to each other. But very often, the wrong people wind up running things. They call themselves community leaders. No one's appointed them. They appoint themselves. And they do cause problems. We also have a lot of predators. And a lot of this comes down to in slices of the community, the good people either walking away, which, look, if they walk away, I can't say anything because they saw the problem, they walked away. You'd hope they'd stand up and fight. There's so much BS that comes with that. So I get it. And then in the reverse, they can try to make noise, and then it's a huge problem and it's disrupting. A lot of people, they just let the abuse happen and then they complain with everyone and in a coffee clutch, oh my God, I can't believe that so many people are getting hurt in this community, while going to support the people that are hurting it. There's a lot of work we need to do. There's a lot of changes we need to make. And online parts of the community are a great way for those changes to come because, again, when you're online, you're not directly after someone. So that's just something to keep in your mind, that when someone tells you if you don't go to the community, you're a red flag, remind them that the community is a red flag already. Let's start getting into the main course tonight. The biggest danger in the community is uneducated participants. One of the biggest problems in our community are the uneducated participants that take part in our lifestyle and or use our community solely for sexual exploits. This is very problematic, very bothering, and often what is the reason most people stop showing up to the community. And it's this encouragement of almost, and I've heard it called a meat pack, where it's get the new people in, get the new people in. And this also comes down to poor education, not on the predators. Predators very often know a lot of what they're doing, and they're doing it in ways to get away with it. I'm talking about the education of members of the community, realizing that they don't have to take abuse. They can call red even in a space when someone's making them feel uncomfortable. That people who are community leaders should never be touching you. They don't have any inherent power on you. And if anyone's bullying you, you should bring it to the entire community. Yes, there are people who run events and they have expectations for those events, and you might not be invited to that event. Nothing stops you from creating your own, which is what we're talking about in this science series, connected to all of these different comments above my head as I'm making this series. We're talking about all the things that I did to build a community. And one of the things that I have really worked hard towards in creating a community has been making sure that people are educated. So we want educated people in our community so they can spot the problem, they can support each other, and make the community safer. And we're going to talk about this in this ongoing series, how we make the community safer. But I just wanted to take the opportunity and the moment to remind everybody that education is sometimes the most important part of the community. An uneducated community is a dangerous community, even if it's just your slice of the community. Because if someone doesn't know what is and isn't okay, like there's still people out there saying that to understand how to be a submissive, you must, or if you to be a dom, you must submit like a backward thinking. It's book talk bullshit. We are an empowered change lifestyle and we connect with people. We have to learn this how not to cause harm to a person, how to deal with the psychological aspect of our lifestyle, how to do the skills that we need, because this is a skill based lifestyle. It's almost like a sport. You need to know the game plans and the how to's. So a lot goes into it. And education is so important. So if you're playing with uneducated people, don't be surprised if you're getting hurt. But if you can educate them, then educate them. If they need more education, point them in the right way. The hardest thing with education is you never know what you don't know until someone makes you realize what you didn't know and you had a bad experience. My job on the TikTok channel is to try to make sure that the Kink Educator channel educates you all and makes you all powerful and better members of the community, which is very true. I got a lot of dress. Why create a slice of the community in Charlotte County? Why would a neurodivergent, antisocial human being decide to open up their own slice of the community? Well, the ability to, the desire to want to help people and educate people, more importantly, to create something that I have benefited from in my life. While I have been an active member, there are also times I've been an in and out member. Sometimes I was busy with work, busy with life, busy with living. I didn't get to get to the community. Knowing it was always there somewhere to connect with me made very inspiring. And then seeing a community that was at least, I would find out later, not necessarily safe for everybody, but for me was something that allowed great conversations and to feel less alone in this vanilla world was a fantastic thing. When things went down with me and an understanding, and I've always known that there were consent issues, but to see it get worse, to see a huge change where something went from basically running. It had its issues, small part of the world. Smaller communities are definitely different than bigger ones in New York City. Smaller communities are very much more quick table, cool kid bullshit. So having seen that and realizing the community could be better, community should be better. So I wanted to make a slice where people felt informed and cared for and thought of. One of the biggest things we try to do is not make our events something where people can just randomly hook up. So I wanted to give that to people. I wanted people to come to a place and feel safe and to meet people and have friendships. And sometimes out of friendships, you do find a partner, and that'd be perfectly fine. What I don't want is horn dogs and people just showing up to make it about them. Community should be more than just about one person. And I haven't seen that in a very long time. And I wanted to be part of making that in an area they didn't have it. This is a year later from idea, 6 months into concept and kind of proving it. You should know the community, the slice I'm making in Charlotte County, the CCFL is something I created deliberately to pass on. So it has never been about popularity for me, and it never will be. And you'll probably hear in this series me repeat that a few times because my goal is not to be popular. My goal is to educate and to give Kingsters a safe place. We're going to draft many of these things, as I said. Take the good while getting out the bad. So here we are. We're going to make a community, right? There's good and there's bad in everything I've seen over my time. So how do I determine what to do in the place I'm making? Well, one of my first rules was that for me, I would never engage with anyone for 90 days. If I meet you as an educator, as a facilitator of the CCFL, me and you will never have anything that's outside of friendship for at least 90 days. This is done specifically to protect people from me, from the misconception of who I might be. And people are taking advantage all the time by people doing this. So I cannot stress this enough. When it came to getting out some of the bad things were calling out new people, letting anyone into our events. I say no to more people than I typically say yes. In the short term, it's made it very hard to grow our numbers. It's made it very hard to create the attendance I want. But in the long run, it will also benefit everyone who does attend, as there are many more people who understand that it is a privilege to be part of a community. It is an accepting space only when we allow it to be an accepting space, and we have to treat the people in our community as our friends, because community is about protecting each other. It's about getting together with each other. So we got to take the good. So what's the good? The good is the ability to express things, to talk about play, to be in a place where we can finally express ourselves. I can't be in the middle of Panera Bread, just randomly meet someone and be like, "Oh, did I hit an ass last night? Leave nice bruising." They're not going to want that conversation. We live where we have to live almost a kind of separated, fractured life at times. So these community spots are very important. Again, community can be online too. I, of course, here on the Kink Educator channel have a wonderful community going, and we're going to continue to grow that. I am not trying in any way or shape or form diminish the importance of community. However, community is very dangerous, and it's very dangerous because many people allow it to be dangerous. So in our community, what we're creating all together, we're making sure that we're not encouraging any abusive behavior. That means really vetting. I mean, we're going to go over this in the vetting chapter, but vetting I take very seriously. So we want to make sure it's the right people who are serious about connecting with other people, not just being someone who's looking for another play toy, not someone who doesn't care about other people, but someone who's going to give the same energy that we're giving, that we all come together for. One of my favorite nights of the month is game night, where everyone gets together and just plays a game. It's wonderful. We have done a meet and greet. We were going to do it quarterly, but I've almost done one once a month as we're waiting for a proper space to do education. Hopefully, I have found that in our area, and I'll be checking in to see when we can first be there. But we are going to continue to do what we need to do to encourage a community that allows growth, that allows protection, that allows communication and education, and prevents the hookup culture, prevents people being too rowdy and just blurting out things that are inappropriate and trying to. We've had some people try to take over the conversations, and I've had to nip that in the butt. No, this is not open mic night. No, you don't get the mic. So those are kind of things. And I think when you see and you feel that someone is not necessarily in control, but controlling the vibe, controlling the feel of the event, that is so important. And that's what we want to see. So that's what it is. If you see something bad in your community, please leave it in a comment below and let us talk about it more. If you see the good in your community, again, throw a comment. Let's talk about that more, because community is about all of us, not just one of us. Kind of like that one. Community is about all of us, not just one of us. All right. The competitiveness and territory. Competitiveness and marking your territory. One of the more difficult things that I've seen happen is that there are people who think they get to own an area as their own. Let me explain this to you very carefully. I don't care how long you've been doing something. I don't care if you're new. Well, I do care if you're new, actually. Let me change that. I like that people show up. It really is generally the people who just show up. And it's so funny to me as someone with 30 plus years in the 30 years this year officially in the community lifestyle. But that's another story for another time. So with someone with 30 years in, I look around and I see these people trying to pound their chest and this is my area, this is my night, this is, you can't do anything on this day of the week. It's all bullshit. People get to decide where they want to go. I have had issues, and I'm not going to call anyone out, but we had issues because there's a community that is just about 25 to 30 miles away, but can't wait to bitch and moan if we do an event on the same day. One of the things that we did is we sat down and we asked the question, and we actually asked the people in our community what they thought. And the rule of thumb was about 20 miles. If something else was happening within 20 miles, if we didn't put up our event yet, they had put up an event, we should probably back down. And we adhere to that. We also make an exception for one other event, but that is because they're usually within 20 miles and they are doing a great job. So I can't stress this enough that we want to respect those who are around us closely, but you have to be realistic. No one's, 20 miles away from where I am to some of the places that are 20 miles away from me could be a 40 to 45-minute trip because it's not highway. So we're very mindful of that. We had to make a rule because I can't stop because, of course, they look at it like, oh my God, they're doing something on our night. They don't realize that 20 miles that way, someone's doing something another. 20 miles that way, someone's doing another. 20 miles that way, someone's doing it the other night. And I've actually gone to the community and said, hey, what day would you like game night to be on? And they chose the night. I'm not going to. The funniest one was we were doing one of the events for King Educator, and the word got back to me so that we were doing something online. And I'm like, how fucking pathetic do you have to be? We're doing something that's going to reach people in New York City. We have people from England coming to attend, but someone's having a munch type thing where they're all going to get like a pizza party, and they think I'm taking away from them when I'm not having an in-person event. And I had a few people ask me about it, and we were recording it, and I was like, go hang out. I'll record it. You guys can look at it on YouTube like we're recording it tonight. It just blows my mind the audacity a human being has to have to do that. And it gets worse because I've had people try to promote events at not mine, our events at CCFL, where the predator who assaulted me and violated my consent was going to be part of it. And they got all mad when I wouldn't let it happen. People need to mind their own business. If I want to put an event on the same night as in another event, that's my choice. This is America. No, I don't have to play nicely. I try. We have our own kind of ethics we're trying to follow. But when you're involving your community and you're growing something that is at times an hour away from an event, there's no one that I'm going to attract that might go to an hour. And if the people are coming from that hour away area up to my area to be with me, that means they probably weren't going to go to your thing. I've had my friends be like, hey, I'd like to go to this other thing. I don't want you to be mad. I'm like, no, rock on, do your thing. Especially if they're from far away. The further away some people are, I get it. I'm like, look, it's a long trip. Don't even worry about it. If that's right. If that's 5 minutes from your house, go enjoy it. Go be 5 minutes from my house. Because it's not about territory to me. I hope there's community events all over so people have choice. I like the idea of choice. The problem is that the more choices there are, a lot of these people who are reading off Google handouts can't really compete with anyone who actually knows what they're talking about. So they're scared of losing their popularity. Because for them, this is a popularity race. For me, it's an educational venture. Trying to make people more safe and protected in a lifestyle that can chew you up and spit you out if you're not careful in a community that is so much more vicious. So I'm not going to worry about anyone outside of the 20-mile bubble. Sorry, not sorry. If someone comes up to me and goes, hey, we're putting on an event, I really don't want competition, I would laugh at them and be like, I'm not competition. I've even had the impression that I should move an event. That pizza night thing, we already declared we were doing something for weeks and for like 2 weeks ahead. And this person actually tried to get other people to get me to change it. It is disgusting. The goal is always, Dana says this in the comments, and I agree completely with this, perfectly timed, says, yeah, that's my goal, education. That's what a community should always be about. education before anything else. So, too many of you want to be, I'm not here to be popular. I would love someone to take over the CCFL who's better at this than me. That day happens, I will happily show up. Trust me, it's work. And we're going to talk about what I get out of it, but it's not popular. Care less. All right, rolling on over to the next one. Quality over popularity. A year ago, when we first started talking about creating the CCFL, I didn't even know I was going to live where I am now. Believe it or not, a year ago, it was up in the air, but I knew I wanted to try to start something new. And I wanted to build something. So I see the way that other slices of the community. We're going to have to start that one over. Sorry about that. Over a year ago, when I first started talking about creating a community or a slice of the community in a different area, we didn't even know where I was going to be living. But I knew from watching what other people were doing that there are people out there, because I've had people write me and complain to me, even when I suggested the community I once was part of, in the way they treated people. So I wanted to make a safe space. I wanted to make a space where people were accepted, and I wanted to make a space where they didn't have to worry about having predators and meat market vibes all over it. Those who use the community to meet partners are not part of a community. This is not what community is supposed to be about. It can be when you're a community member that a lot of people like and someone else comes along, you'll see matchmakers trying to have. But when you come in just sniffing around trying to get laid, we all know it. And you distract from the ambiance of it. So for me, it is all about quality over popularity. I'm not doing anything to be popular. Trust me. If you don't live up to the vetting process, we're talking, you'll see it. It's going to be part of this series, from Richard picks to other things. If you're not living up to a standard that I want to be around you, or I want my partners to be around you, or my friends, see, that's what I always look at it. When I'm doing a community event, it's not about me being popular. I put a 90-day rule on myself. I don't want anything out of this. And I'll actually tell you what I get out of this. Meeting new people, interacting, having those kinky conversations you can't have anywhere else. That's why I do this. I don't want popularity. Popularity's stupid. You have to do things to be popular. I'm okay not being popular. I would rather be a person that someone hugs because I helped them, I listened to them, or I said, hey, look out, there's a red flag, and then they don't get hurt and find out later someone else did. Too many people sit idly by because they're worried about popularity and allow bad things to happen to community members and let them get attacked. The community I was part of, actually most of the communities I've been part of, I am not a person who sits idly by and allows things to happen. I use my voice. I've used more than that, but that's not a great thing. I was younger, learn more now. And I will also use the ability to articulate myself in ways others can't, because my education spans 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010, 2020, 5 decades. I have been studying kink through 5 decades. Let that get into you. Let that soak in. Starting from the library all the way to New York Comic Con on a panel. Everything in between that I could possibly have. Reading medical journals, reading library books at the library. I can't get enough, and I'm still learning to this date, still exploring, still expanding on my knowledge base, and still out there listening to other people. I go to BDSM 101 classes all the time. Just curious. Sometimes things have changed. There used to be a time when one of the biggest things for us to teach when people were doing a 101 class was when you tie someone up, you should check on them within 10 to 15 minutes if it's the first time they're being tied up. Never go over 30 minutes. I went to a suspension class, mentioned this. This was a staple in the 2000s and the 90s. These people, oh, it's not important. Oh, no, it's not a big deal. Because people are teaching, it takes a lot to lose, to really have a circulation issue. And I talked to someone recently about that. I'm like, you're right. The problem with the circulation issue is that it numbs an area. If you don't get enough blood there, you start to get numbed. You might not feel a nerve having a problem. And they never looked at it that way. And they said they were going to get back to me. But when you start to cut off the circulation, even if you haven't hit the nerve, there's a numbness that comes with it. Yeah, you could not know that you're compressing a nerve. You'll know when the blood finishes. So whenever you see the bright red flesh being tied, that's usually a sign something's wrong, not an okay, you can keep going for 5 more minutes. And we need to have those bigger conversations. And you have to have someone like me who says, no, that's not okay. No, that's not it. And even if I'm just challenging the narrative and you have a bigger conversation, we'll probably all learn from that conversation. So when it comes to this, I'm always going to pick quality. People that are around us, quality, interested, motivated, being part. I want people to talk, even if the ideas aren't my own, as long as the ideas aren't dangerous. Let's have it. Different kinks. Doesn't matter if our kinks line up. It matters that we're together and we can listen to it. You have to be accepting. And finally, quality of the way we treat each other is very important. Because popularity, oh, well, I guess it's funny that he just called that girl a whore. In my community, I'd be like, don't talk like that. Because I do put ownership over it. Because it's my community. And it's not just mine, it's our community. But there's a part of it that is mine because I want to hug it. I want to love it. I want to protect it. It's my community. So that's what I'll do. So in my community, we put quality over popularity. I'm going to read some comments real quick here. Take a bit of a break. I see you guys. I don't want to ignore you. We're on YouTube, by the way. For those who don't know, there is no one watching, but we've been on 42 minutes now. Hey, Dana. How are you doing today? Can't find community in Western New York. I don't know what part of Western New York you're in, but there are pockets of communities. Make sure to hit the follow button if you haven't already, Dana. There's my co-host, Alice, who lives in New York that might be able to give you some guidance. Or might know a person that can kind of tell you. I got an oh my God 100. That's right from Lilith. People can't hide their true intentions more than 90 days. This is true too. But for me, look, not to sound like a dick, but I'm a pretty good partner. I mean, it might sound a bit egotistical. I just don't want someone to want to date the educator, to play with the educator, because I'm not the educator, I'm Rob. And I want people to know the difference. I don't want someone later to feel like, oh, well, I just thought he was really cool because he was an educator, but turned out none of our things were together. I want that rosy glass to go away and then see me in it. Imagine after 90 days, Rob, I waited 90 days and I would like to maybe get coffee with you. How amazing would that moment be? They put up me for 90 days and they want coffee? Hell yeah. Let's get coffee. Patience is important in BDSM. We should do that. Patience is important in not just BDSM, but in community as well. So that'll be our next one. Me too, 40 years. Lilith said yes, there's always trip up. I think you mean like bad people tripping their way up to management. Lilith says I do it after every 5 so you can't be overcautious. And your tolerance can change. That's right, Dana. Yes, it is, says Lilith. Dana gives 100, just like he said your kinks can change. Yeah, kinks do change. The level of them, sometimes we don't like the same kink as much as we once did. Like wax play seems real fun, and I got really bored of it very quickly. And the mess to clean it up just wasn't worth it. But that's me. That was me. Doesn't mean someone can't have wax play. Well, says that's cool. Dana says, I'm fine. Buffalo. Buffalo. Can you get into Canada easily? I swear to you, I thought I heard that Canada's got like a pretty good scene right off the Buffalo. I don't remember where I heard it, but we're gonna get back to this. Patience in BDSM is truly so important, and yet we have this stupid notion that we don't have to be patient. We can rush into things and we can just go play and do things that someone doesn't even understand. And that's community too. For the slices of the community, when we don't have patient participants, you get people who are like, "Oh, don't you want to just go play right now?" And unfortunately, when it comes to community, you also have to worry now if you're going to be a facilitator of it, that someone's using your actual event as well a meat market. They're seeing who's signing up and then bothering and harassing them. That's why we have a harassment policy. We want people to be patient, to take their time, to send messages. Let me tell you, if you're going to be joining a new slice of the community or you're going to go to an event for the first time, it is 100% your responsibility to reach out to the organizer. It's not our job to track you down. It is a privilege to go to these events someone else is making. Some people don't care. They like the debauchery. They like the bad behavior. They don't care. Oh, let's over sexualize this, and they're not kink because kink is about control. It is about patience. Just really think about that. Kink isn't meant to be ran into. We don't get wild and crazy. We're not girls gone wild, and we're not, people who rush into things. We negotiate, we communicate, we have conversations. We get negotiation only after knowing play profiles, aftercare profiles. BDSM is not inherently sexual. It's not a quick get off thing. A lot of times, the getting off is the patience of play into that one moment where you either feel the thing you've been waiting for or hear the reaction to everything that you set in motion for an hour. That is BDSM. And if we don't have patient people, we don't have people that are willing to do the time to build a community, then we don't need them in our slice of the community. We're all building a better community in our own ways, and we're either making it better or making it worse. You're either part of the solution or part of the problem. I feel like I'm droning on some of these, which isn't purposeful. What's our next topic? Boundaries and rules. Boundaries and rules. I don't know about the rest of you, but anytime I've ever tried to go to an event, I've read what the event was about. And if they said to reach out to them, I reached out to them. If they said I had to meet them in another event, I met them in another event, introduced myself. That's forward. I'm sure I've not always made the best impression, but I made the effort. I understood the boundaries and the rules of the event. Sometimes they were ambiguous, but most times I understood it, and I made sure to follow them all. And then you get the people who don't read anything, show up, and act like a fool. That's why when we created what we have out here with the CCFL, I made sure to make it easy for people to join us, but it would take effort. To be part of a community, you should be putting effort in. And if you don't want to put effort in, then why are you part of the community? So I have no problem putting up our post, and it's a page. There's a page of stuff to read. I change it every time I post something, even if it's a duplicate event, like our upcoming game night, which will happen in June. It's the same text from 2 or 3 other things, but I changed some things up, including telling people that they would have to reach out to us if they were brand new. On our last game night, I rejected 30 people. We wound up having 7 of us at the table. I could have had a lot more people, but if I want to get, again, this goes back to our popular over quality. If I let everyone in and I rejected 30 people, my event had 50 people. Let's say 15 people to 20 people showed up. I guarantee there were 15, 20 people who were just there trying to harass the people going to the event. There are people just looking for hookups, and it's really fucking sad. So when it comes to this particular topic, we make sure that they have to read the boundaries and rules. And it really quickly becomes clear who's not reading anything because they don't read the text itself of the game night event that if you're new, you have to send me this message with this information and this title. But I don't make it so you can copy and paste it either, because I want to see the effort. Put some effort in. Show me that you're going to be a good part of our community. I don't want you out. For God's sake, fill out your fucking profiles if you want to be part of the community, because we do need to vet. We're going to talk more about that in the upcoming vetting module. Put that in our drafts. All right, and believe it or not, vetting is next. Actually vetting. Oh my God, the bullshit of people saying they vet for their events and then seeing the people that show up and knowing that they shouldn't be vetting for anything. I can't tell you how many times people have been harassed because someone thinks vetting is just checking out their profile and sending them a message. Hey, why do you want to come to my event? Oh, I just want to check it out. Oh, cool. Come say hi to me. If you're someone they find attractive, they just let you in. I'll be honest with you all right now. I'm more likely to allow a woman into an event than a man. Call it what it is. It is a bias, but it's a bias based on fact. It is a bias that there are a lot of men come in and do creepy fucking shit. It was so funny in a recent event, and this is someone who's not a dangerous person. They quoted an article that we had talked about on this channel and debunked on this channel. A year later, I rolled my eyes. The problem is if I wasn't in that room to correct them and say, no, that was pseudoscience, people in that room might have began to believe that. And it's so dangerous. So we need to make sure we're vetting people. Even good people have a bad day, read the wrong article, wrong information. But then there are people who are deliberately trying to get the naive and take advantage of it. So we have to make sure we're not letting those people. And we have to make sure we're living up to standards. And part of that standard is investigating someone. If someone has, a picture of their Richard in their hand, no, you're not going to be there. And if it's not your Richard and it's your kitty cat, same thing. Because it shows me the only interest you have is for the happy ending. It's not even for kinks. You're not showing me a main picture with some sort of kink in it. Now, if you show me those and it's a kink thing like sounding, yeah, I get that. Probably not what I want on the friends list, because then every time you make a comment, I have to see it that way. But I appreciate you. It's about respect, something that we don't talk about enough. I talked about in doing this bigger video, we talked about not morals, but integrity. We talked about the idea of, I'm so stuck. It's morals and what is the other word? Goddamn. Ethical. And ethics. And ethics is something that we all kind of agree on, whether we sat down and talked about it or not. We all know. We all know that safe words should be followed. We all know that someone shouldn't violate anyone without at all, period. You shouldn't. We all agree you shouldn't get someone intoxicated to play with them to take advantage of them. And then there's murky areas. Well, if I've been with my partner for a while, blah blah blah. And this is what makes some teachers so dangerous, because they're just teaching what they're experiencing, and they've never looked beyond their own experiences and even understood it, or teaching from a point 20 years into a dynamic, forgetting how much energy they put in for the 20 years before the date they started talking. So when it comes to vetting, we want to make sure that we're not letting in someone repeatedly who will try to take over the conversation and be disruptive. And it's so simple to just block a person for that. I don't care. I'm not trying to be popular, so I'm very happy to do that. But vetting requires looking at their activity feed. Vetting requires looking at who they're friends with sometimes. Vetting requires me to take the time to see how they set up their profile. What's their screen name? If they have a disgusting screen name, they're not showing anyone respect. I told someone once flat out, if you don't change your screen name, I won't accept your friend request. I was like, you can call it dickish if you want. I'm okay with that. So vetting means taking the time to pay attention. You're not always going to get it right. It's terrifying as someone who's doing events. who is facilitating these events to know that at one point or another, we're going to have to not have to, but we're going to accidentally let someone in. That if I knew what I'll know in the future, I would never do today. So why would I let in the obvious ones? The ones who are saying over sexualized comments to strangers, they don't belong in my community events. And again, it's not just mine, it's ours. But I'm doing my part to protect my community. Does anyone have anything? Let's see. Not enough safety, agreed, Dana. And good advice I read about, but not reached out. You can feel free to always reach out to me. Let's see. Enjoyment versus fear. I think I might have copied the wrong one. That's echo chambers for some reason. Oh, I know why. That's on me. No, it should work. Why is that not working? I'm on an iPhone and I'm on a what do they call them? iMac, and it's not doing the copy and paste trick it normally does. We're just going to get around it. Enjoyment versus fear in community spaces. No one should be afraid to come to a community space, yet many are. Why? Because people allow bad behavior to reign over this. This causes not just fear, but lack of enjoyment, not wanting to come back. What's a quick way to kill a community or a slice of community? Allow bad behavior. Your 15, 20 friends showing up to support you, it's only going to last so long until they get bored of showing up. Watch this multiple times. If you want to have a good slice of the community, it's going to take time. You're going to have those moments where you sit with one or two people at a table. I've done it. I've thrown events where no one showed up. What I do, I turn to my TikTok community. And we had a great session, over 300 views. It was the most views we'd had in a very long time for a live. And it wound up spawning off a couple videos that got hundreds of views. So I am all about creating something that people will enjoy, will be educated, and will learn from. I don't want to make a space where someone thinks I have to call a friend to go with me because it's dangerous otherwise. I want people to know that if I'm in attendance, there's going to be a safety net. There's going to be someone who's going to instantly stand up for them and not allow bad behavior. That's what I want to create. A zone that is not just safe, but accepting. Someone who knows that when they come to my event, and if someone messes with them, they're messing with me, and we're going to have a conversation. So, what is what I'm going to do? That's what I'm planning to do and what I'm working towards right now. So, when it comes to community events, I want people to enjoy being at events that I am part of and or facilitating versus being afraid to come out because the wrong people are going to be there. And that goes back to our whole vetting video, which you can find by hitting that button right there. It's going to be a couple days before you can actually hit those buttons fully because we're going to kind of piecemeal this out. Oh, who knows? I might put it all up tomorrow. Everyone's opinions. Good evening. Good advice I read about, but not. I think we read that one. Just realized screwing up here. It's the wrong comment again. Give me like 3 of these comments because I'm not paying attention. Education over hookup events. Honestly, I think finding people in the kinky space becomes a lot easier when you become part of an actual community. But when you enter a community just to get what you want out of it, people can feel that you're not going to be welcome and no one's going to want you around. This is not a hard moment to understand. It's not. There's nothing difficult about this. I will not be putting together anything that is for just, you know, problematic issues. No, just realized it's the wrong video. I'm gonna have to start this one again. Have everyone's opinions. I figure we'll just do that one and then we'll go back to this other one. Whew. We're almost there. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more, and then a bonus story if you guys want. So let's do this. We have everyone's opinions. So you're going to start your own slice of the community. My biggest piece of advice to you is that everyone's going to have opinions. Learn very quickly to listen to the positive ones and the important ones. We have had, and we talked about this earlier, someone actually turn around and get upset because they were throwing a pizza party on a night that we were doing Pink Educator educational program on the internet because they were afraid we were going to affect people going to your event. I don't care who's throwing another event. I deliberately would schedule events for people who weren't going to an event based on whatever criteria they might not have met or not feeling safe at those events. I don't care if 4 people show up to my events. I'm building a safe haven community. I want it to be accepting. I want it to be open, and I want it to grow with great people. I am patient enough to take the time. I don't need to rush a lot of people in the door. We do what will be every 3 months, starting after June, or maybe July. We might do a June, July, and then take a month off in August and do a September one. Meet and greets, and then starting in September, we won't do another one until probably January. We're at the 1 hour mark. Hold on. So we're at 1 hour on TikTok. I hate when I do this. Give me 1 second. Whoa. I almost lost. Got it. Sorry about that. I had to worry about that. But yeah, people are going to give you bad advice. People are going to look at it just from you. And you're going to be a human being trying to schedule things with your life, chaotic, single parent maybe. And you're doing your best. Just do your best for you. People will understand in the long run. I firmly believe that the more you try to bend to other people, the worse you make your life. Recently, I was having a thing where we were trying to figure out when to do another event that we have coming up. Monday's bad. Oh, no. Tuesday's bad. Then Wednesday's bad for this person. Thursday's bad for that person. Can't do it for this week because of that person. I finally had enough of the schedule. Because if I spent all my time bending over backwards, no one can be spending that time bending over backwards for me. They're not going to do that for you. So if you're facilitating a brand new slice of the community, or you're trying to make community events a pre-established slice, just do it when it makes sense to you so you can show up. Don't put yourself in a position you can't be fully there in the moment. Make sense? Pretty simple on this one. Okay. Our next one is education over hookups. Educational events over hookups. For me, in the slice of the community I'm trying to make it a very simple, educational driven slice of the community. Hookup events are not something I'm trying to do because hookup events wind up bringing a lot of problems. Now, at the moment, the CCFL does not affiliate itself with or has a night at any establishment. But even if we had a night at an establishment, I would want people who are already paired off to show up. If I threw a play party, I probably wouldn't want single people to show up because I don't think play parties are where people should. I would have people be able to register as pickup play people before that and try to see if they wanted to do it, maybe facilitate something like that. But that's in the future. We're not even close. We're not even through our first full year. Hookup events attract the wrong attention, especially here in Florida. Maybe other areas have less problems. But in Florida, you have a lot of swingers, people take it the wrong way, and they are definitely making people uncomfortable. I want the kinky people to stay. I don't want to sacrifice kinky people to swingers so I can get bigger numbers. I'm okay with not having a play party for a good amount of time until this community trusts each other and is ready to take it. All of our relationships at the same time to the next level. So for now, my focus is always going to be on education. It's always going to be that in the future. Maybe one day we'll do a play party, but we will never do hookup events. We'll never do something so people can hook up. They never work. They're awkward. They're always inviting trouble, in my opinion. So as I'm running these slices of the community, that's where I'll be. Educating. Ego and humility, the future, and then the bonus story. Let's go with ego and humility. Ego and humility. During this educational series, we've talked a lot about popularity because I think popularity drives people to do things in inappropriate ways and makes things very problematic. So, with that in mind, your ego, if you're going to be running something, has to always be in check. So does your humility. You have to listen to people, you have to take the considerations. Even when you know that you might be right, just someone bringing something to you, it matters to them. You have to be humble in how you take it. Be ready to explain yourself without being aggressive. Have the conversation, even if it's difficult. Don't do things, well, I just said so. But you can say things like, well, I don't want to at all be associated with people who put someone who violates consent as a teacher. There's someone that I'm not going to worry about because, if anything, I'd rather them not be teachers because they're dangerous if you allow a consent violator to do that. So you have to be able to listen. You have to put your ego to the side. You have to be humble, and you have to be able to listen. Humility goes a long way in this life, especially in this lifestyle. Like when you make a mistake with your partner, even if they moved, you're the dom, you're the one swinging, still your responsibility. You can be a little frustrated at them and say, hey, can you stay still? This is kind of like precision, but you don't get a right to blame them. You're the one swinging. You always got to learn how to pull back, hold it together. And if you make a mistake, I'm sorry, move on. All right, all right, all right. We have the future. I'm going to do a wrap up, and then maybe I'll tell you a bonus story. The future of my community is just getting the right people in the right place. And once that happens, it'll grow. I'm already seeing it happen. People are talking more about it. People are having conversations about it. More and more people are asking me questions about it. We are moving in the right direction. So I'm so thrilled to have been part of this. And I hope when I one day do walk away from this community and someone else steps up to be in charge of it, this slice of the community, that I'll be able to come back and visit in the future. Because I think we're off to a great start. Our numbers aren't gigantic, but we have really good members. Those really good members are going to encourage other good members to come out, maybe for the first time, be in a position that they actually have a supportive community where they're going to want to continue to be part of it, and literally tell people this is a safe position, this is a safe community. How wonderful would that be? And we want to do that. That's the goal. So the future is continuing to show people that we are a safe spot that is accepting, and to build and build and build. And maybe even, who knows, maybe the way it's built will encourage other communities to get their shit together. One can hope. All right. And we're going to do the wrap up. So a year ago, I decided to do this. I've had help. My brat's been helping me, and a few other people have. And I've listened a lot. We have changed some things. We've been more guarded, more protective We've learned on the way doing this how everyone can be potentially a problem. So we look for that. We establish a tone. We establish how someone's going to act when they're going to attend our events with boundaries and rules. It's been stressful at times, and I had promised to say by the end of this what I get out of it. And again, I get out of hanging out with like-minded people. I'm not a social person, but I enjoy hanging out with people who understand. When you can tell someone a story of something you just did with your partner and they get it and they smile, like, oh, that's fantastic. Or you can talk about other things that affect our kink lifestyle. It's wonderful. You feel less alone. So that is what I've accomplished in the 1 year of planning, 6 months of operation of the CCFO. We had our first event in November, announced we were coming in October. I believe we got 2 underway last year as the CCFO. We had our first game night, and it was our last closed game night, actually. We would go put it on FetLife in the future. We had our first game night in November at a venue. And then no, I think we advertised that one. Either way, 6 months is a good amount of time. Let me not get caught in the weeds here. And we have certainly, I feel, created something special. And now it's just about growing it. We've planted the seed. We've gotten the right soil. We've put the right energy in. We have a lot of people who are interested. We're definitely weeding as much as we can. And I'm so excited to see what the future brings. Thank you for watching the series. I hope there's a lot of comments and questions throughout all this. I put as much information as I could out there, but of course, you're always going to forget something. And I'm sure I did. So if you have any follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Ooh, that one I might want back. I think that one might have posted without my ability to stop it. I hit the button too fast. Okay. We are up. Let's see our current tally. We're at 9,924 followers. All right, we're going to turn the phone off for a few minutes. It's so warm. I had such a crazy beard at one point. All right. Bonus story. All right. I'll do a bonus story and then we'll see where we're at. I'm going to tell you, because some people have been asking about this, what exactly happened with Mast. And I found out today Mast is no longer on TikTok. I found it kind of weird, but we'll go with it. So people have asked me what happened with me and Mast, because I have said that there was a complication. And because there was no, when this happened, NDA, because this happened outside of an event, I can actually talk about it. I'm going to tell the story one time. So basically, when I first started this channel, people came at me and they violated my privacy. The community that I was part of was more than happy to give private information away about me. To this date, not one of them has been held accountable for that. People told them where I lived, where at that point no one had known. So the community I was part of, which I would have called my community at the time, outed me and gave up information, and then got upset for 2 reasons. One, I positively talked about Mast. And at the time, Mast was on TikTok. It has since no longer been on TikTok. I don't know the story behind that. But I did have the opportunity later to show the people who ran Mast that Mast itself, as an organization, was certainly on the TikTok app. And it did point right back to the people running it. And I thought it was really bullshit. They were pissed at me. And they were also mad at me because I said that I was going to out someone's inbox messages. Now, of course, I saw the later doctored videos that were going around. Someone showed me, and one of them was me saying that I was going to out the people who were fucking with me without mentioning the inbox messages and the harassment they were sending. Because the message was, I'm really getting tired of all of you. Maybe the world deserves to see who you really are. And of course, at the end of the video, I said, the only reason I won't do this is because I'm not you. I understand the importance of privacy, and you only prove who you are every day. Still have the video, by the way, as proof. I got, at the time, which was a 6-month suspension for Mast. I shrugged my shoulders, told them they had it wrong, and it was BS. Most other people who watched most of the stuff, and the people from New York who didn't get involved, thought it was all very fishy and problematic. And of course, my consent violator was never addressed. And then another problem with someone's consent getting violated, the community didn't want anything to do with it. But I had a BDSM trial. That was 9,000 followers ago. Obviously, I didn't stop the TikTok thing. And I served my 6 months, didn't say a word. And then once it just so happened the 6 months were over, my consent violator was brought on to speak at a mass meeting. I was going to go. I was going to call him out. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it because it was about consent violations. And I felt the audacity of having that person be the one to talk about it. So I went to subscribe to it, and I told the people I was coming. I then got told that somehow, magically, it was a year suspension. And I was like, this is a lie. This is bullshit. Never a year. It was supposed to be 6 months. I served it. It's funny that you're protecting consent violations. So for me, and just for the place in Florida with the Mast, but they said it was the Mast organization behind it too, for clarity, protected a consent violator. I was mad because I wasn't allowing bullies to bully me. So I actually got asked why I was blocking people who were sending me unaliving threats, who were threatening things with my child. This was actually a real question. And then stupidly on a piece of paper, they wrote down Rob's consent violations, which I later found was meant to be the consent violations I had had, but that's not how it was worded, and it was shared with people on the internet who used it as a almost testimonially and showed people, see, he has consent violations. This is what the community did to me, and to this date, no one was held accountable, and my consent violator was and did actually teach a class of Mast. So you can imagine at this point, I have very little respect for the Mast organization. I don't wish them anything but the best. But if that's the quality of what you want, I'm never going to care about Mast again. I've seen how you operate, and no, it's not okay. And it'll never be okay. Maybe you should pay more attention to what people are using your name for. Because trust me, I'd win this battle, and we're here almost 2 years later, still kicking. Because that happened in October 2 years ago exactly. And at that time, well, let's just put it this way. A lot of people did a lot of shitty things, and I was the only one called to the mat. When I was called to the mat, not one of them could prove any of their allegations other than I mentioned Mast on the TikTok. They even got mad at me. True story, because I said in that video, there are no kings, there are no queens, there are no governors, there are no mayors, there are no rulers or presidents of king. Because there are people with the name that attached to king, but it wasn't their name, it was queen blah, 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 king blah, blah, blah. They said I was trying to call them out. I said, if I'm going to call someone out, you can be assured I'm going to do it the right way. If I want to out them out. If I'm being vague, even if I'm being vague, which I wasn't for the record, even if I'm being vague, that's exactly what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to out a personal privacy. My shit got outed all day long. Not one of them was ever held accountable. Welcome to the community, kids. So what do you guys think of story time? Yeah, I don't know why Mast isn't on TikTok anymore. I have no idea what that's about. They were not, because I was going to tag them in this video. I'm not someone who runs from the problem. I run towards it to resolve it. And it amazes me how some people think they can act and not be held accountable. I know people have been asking for this story, so I saw someone made a comment. I'm going to be. I love the fact that I'm the only person in history to ever have a BDSM trial. Under the right people, they are certainly a great organization. Under the right tutelage and leadership, I've really had great meetings. But when you let consent violators teach classes, you've lost it all. Thank you. I'm glad it was very informative. So that's it. What do you guys think of my journey with the community? I feel like I didn't nail all of it that I wanted to, but I wanted to do this event today. I am charging this on hold. Uh-oh, my phone's hot. Uh-oh, we got a system notification. Oh, it's just a good one. They now officially have my 10K thing. I don't know why, but every time I use a back screen now, they want to make it a permanent thing. So whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna go try to move it and let it cool off. When I go live, sometimes I have to unplug it because it gets too hot. It's Florida, so it's already hot down here. All right, we have been on for a while. I haven't checked out our YouTube friends. No one left a message. No one's watching. But I'm liking the fact that we're having a YouTube. I'm just about an hour and 30 into it. We have a good amount of people. If anyone wants to join us, I'll open up the door. Yeah, I feel it too, but it's good. We can know both sides. Yeah. And look, the one video I made calling them out was not meant to be good. It was me being angry. Someone had threatened my child. And yeah, for me, that was even drawn back. Have a much different gear. And I had people, I had a consent violator. I had some person had the audacity to tell me I was lying about it. Meanwhile, they knew that there were witnesses. The same person would come poorly dressed to an event, not where this was against the vanilla thing, tried to cause problems. Apparently, there was a rumor around that there would have been a brawl. I'm not going to get into that or address that. I know that at one point he started speaking in a way that was disrupting the overall ambiance of the place. So I slammed my hand down the table, told him to sit the fuck down. Looked right over him, said, "Did you ask the witnesses?" I said, "No." And I'm like, "Then what are we talking about here? You're here to disrupt." So got up. Some people have said he sounded like he was crying and said he had to go. This is not how we treat people. Um, this is the whole someone thinking too much of themselves. I've had this a lot. I've had people write me really nasty. How dare I? Blah blah blah. Acting this way. Blah blah blah. I just block them. Like I have no time. You're a fucking stranger. You don't mean anything to me. You're just some person on the internet who is now what trying to make me afraid of you. I grew up in New York City. I had people threaten me with things that were truly threatening. You are not one of them. So. Does anyone want to come on and talk to your boy, Mr. Anderson? I'm here. I'm just looking to see if anyone left us any comments. Don't worry, I haven't stopped paying attention. Oh, I might have screwed up. Being told it's the fourth Sunday. Sometimes you can't just win. We're talking about scheduling an event. I think I scheduled it on the right day. Echo, when's Father's Day? Echo, when is Father's Day?
Father's Day will be on Sunday, June 15th, 2025.
Echo, when's Father's Day?
Father's Day will be on Sunday, June 15th, 2025.
Okay. Come on. Is that not the third Sunday? I have to look. Bear with me, people. Yeah, okay. Oh, it is the fourth Sunday. Huh. Invite sent. Come on board.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm okay. Just as a warning, I don't know if you saw the latest live we had where we had someone kicked off without me having any say in it. So now I'm giving everyone who shows up a little bit of a warning. I can't control if TikTok kicks someone off. So be mindful not to say anything that might piss off the TikTok. That's it. Yep.
I think people are using it for other benefits, but PayPay and another platform, we know what it is about, especially us in the community. I think they're using that too for her. I know it's a trend here, but you gotta be careful because you know that there's PayPay and Fendom. So people have to know about that.
We have talked about it. I think fin-doming and pay-pig is one of those things that aren't ethical and therefore can't be actually submitted to. And the reason is that there is an expectation that is often abused. What happens a lot of times are the people who wind up having the charges done, where they will report the card stolen if they're married and have the things reversed and or get people in trouble. A few people have faced prison. But when you're across the ocean, it's a lot harder, isn't it? So you're seeing that a lot where the people from like England are trying to do it to people in America, and this is a backdoor. I think it's look, I'm not trying to judge anyone, but I don't understand giving away your money to the access to your money to anyone else. There are some people who are smart enough when they do that, they set the money aside. And there are people who have a lot of money that just don't know what to do with it. But I think it's unethical. I think they are criminal. I think that they do encourage bad behavior. And the way that they talk about them outside of the moment, like, oh, these people are so stupid, is heartbreaking. Because, and I don't like, can we have an honest conversation about adult stuff?
I talked to you. I don't know if you remember me. The other
I know who you are. Yeah. Yeah. I do. I love that you're here.
The other platform that's with the F but in blue. It's got 40,000 members there. It's more education. It's more to like really teach about it. And I have shared, I think I talked about it also, like all your riddles,
Yeah.
I mean, they got such a one-sided, like you say, brain instead of being open-minded, you know? So I have to tell you, I'm very appreciative of that knowledge. So, as a sexual yeah. I love a lot of information. That's one of my things. And I just wanted to say, keep on with the 10K. Keep on.
We're trying.
If you can, add some people that you really trust. I won't add like a lot of people tonight. You know, always have less. When the following, I have the following that follows.
Smart.
No, because you know what? You only can like follow only up to 10K. But you're talking about like followers.
Yeah.
So it's good to limit yourself and to like people that really are in the community, that will be by your side. The heartbeat, I don't know if you talking about the heartbeats, what it does.
No, that one I don't think I fully understand.
I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the platform.
Go.
Okay, the heartbeat on your life. See my story. This is my life story. This is my other side of my world. The heartbeat, in the heartbeat, those people are the ones that are always going to be in your life. It gives you points. It gives hi Simba, how you doing? It gives you points in the platform. It gives you can monetize through gifts in there. They will help you in journeys. They will help you get up in rank. It's good to have those heartbeats in there. That's good, Simba. And in the heartbeat, that will be your life community. Those will be the people that will always be going to your life. They will help you get into the level you will see your heart in them right now, and then they will I want to give you heartbeat because I love your content, and I didn't do it the other day.
I appreciate that.
So yeah, you need the heartbeat, and then inside the heartbeat, I claim points. So every day when I watch you, I will be claiming points.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? So I'll be claiming points. Right now, you don't got a lot of you gotta tell people to give you the heartbeat if they want, but don't like if it's consented, if they want to, they will give you that special heartbeat. I always tell everybody to give it to a person that deserves the heartbeat, and I think you really deserve it because all the information you give, the knowledge, the lifestyle, and you can claim points. So right now you have 5. So if you can, from now on, try to encourage people in your community to give you the heartbeats. That will help your live stream. It will help you get into FYP. And tell everybody if they can give you your tax. The tax are very important. The tax will make your views get into FYP and your videos will get higher.
Okay.
Okay? The more tax you get in a live, the better your how you say the information will get to the public.
Oh wow, I
So
did.
you get more followers.
And
This is how TikTok works. This is where and engaging with other people, like liking if there's someone you like the content, you always like save and comment a good comment. And when you engage with other people, your videos will go to the FYP.
okay.
That helps you. The more engagement you have, you're not being a bot. Now, it's always good to track if you have any like people that are only have like fake photos, that are you say that are only has an user. You have to like take those people out so you can keep on moving and have good people that will help you get higher in TikTok. I know like the growing page and how other people can get higher in their thing. So I put that issue to do on the next thing.
Well, I appreciate the heads up on all that.
Yeah, the heartbeat is special. I think the heartbeat is like they're getting into your family. That's like you're not right there and you touch the heartbeat of this person and you can see and you can taste that they
I got it.
You could encourage them to put a sticker in your life, like before the enhance, go to enhance in the platform,
Mhm.
and you see a sticker that says join the team. And it will be nice to have that person put it on the live.
Yeah, I don't see the have team thing there. Oh, enhance. Maybe the enhancements.
Enhance, where it says stickers,
All right.
and you will see like the stickers there.
Gotcha. Well, I'm
And you
gonna.
can put the sticker wherever you want.
Okay. That's definitely something I'm gonna play with later. The camera itself is actually kind of warm, and it's not playing well with me now because we've been on so long.
TikTok, another thing, TikTok does train your phone. So every time you log into the
Yeah.
does that. If you need help, here's how you too. And any questions, little things, there's things you gotta be careful. A friend of mine, he was like cutting something, and I said the part that he was cutting show, the instrument, I'm not gonna say the word, but it won't find a backpack. So for any little details, you gotta be careful.
Okay. We're pretty good here because we've fought so much with them on our language. I'm like I told you at the beginning, I'm more nervous about guests saying things because usually that's where I've gotten the most trouble, believe it or not. Because we're
You have moderators, right?
I won't. Not yet. I don't. Maybe later, but right now, because it's so educational, like we don't try to do any of the other stuff. You know what I mean? So, because to me,
Person if they see anything.
okay.
You have to be careful with what they write because I have like 4 or 5 moderators in my life when they come in. They got all the permissions, but people have to ask them first.
Okay.
A person, if a person starts saying things, we just mute them, and then they won't write anything.
Okay. As far as I know, you don't get in trouble if they write something, do you? Or are they? Is TikTok trying to hold? Oh, that's some stupid shit. Oh yeah. Well, thank you for sharing all that. That's definitely something we're gonna have to talk about and look at as we get a little bigger with the audience. Yeah, because at least one or two moderators before and when we do live, before the live, share it to her, to the moderator, so what there or what could be under, reading what they say. Usually people go and sometimes kids, this is for adults. Yeah. Or sometimes people get it and you gotta be careful with that. If yeah, I I I'm hoping that's not happening with us, but you never know. The kids can lie about their age. Speaking, at least with me, look at me. I have followers. I can like see me. I have a following. I do lives. So right now, I'm really used to me, but like new members, you gotta be careful with them because they will force. Yeah, well, I've known you for a while. I'm not even concerned about you, but we are concerned with other people, and I know TikTok has been changing. I just realized it's 7:30. Speaking of kids, I got to get to mine. time, time to put on the dad cape, not the daddy cape. They're different. But I appreciate you. I'm definitely going to probably talk back and forth, get some thoughts on changes with you, and I'll talk to you soon. I do have to get going. I want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in. Remember that BDSM is not inherently sexual. I thank my guests for hanging out with us tonight. Yeah, hearts. I want to see nothing but hearts from now on. I want you to block my screen with hearts. All right. I want. Well, I'm just signing off. I'm just signing off. So
Okay, take care.
thank you for coming on. Thank you all for being here tonight. It's been a great time. I appreciate you all. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you all soon. Stay kinky, my friend. StreamYard are you on again? Sorry, guys. This seems to keep happening with you guys. I hit the end stream, it's not working. Try it again.